So, welcome to the first edition of our new Flowise tutorials. I'm very excited to show you more about Flowise in these video series. We will see how many we will do depending on the popularity, but I'm very excited to show you more from Flowise. Flowise is the new agent builder tool that Workday acquired in 2025. And for me personally, this is the coolest technology I've seen since Workday Extend, and maybe even cooler than Extend. Um, I also highly recommend everyone who works in the Workday ecosystem to follow these tutorials because it's not only meant for the technical people, it's even more so for people that are more on the functional side or who are a Workday product owner. Because when you follow these tutorials, you will see what the possibilities are. You will better understand how to work with the technical team who might actually do them. And it's also just very interesting and fun to build these kind of agent flows. Um, there are two things you need up front. One is access to Flowise. Very simple. Go to the Flowise website, create a free account, and you can build up to two agent flows. And the other one is a large language model API key. I will drop a link in the comment section so that you can create one if you don't have one yet. So let's get started. We will build a simple agent flow today, and we will create one for onboarding. So as you can see, Flowise is very much drag and drop. So here at the bottom, you can just drag things around. We can add new elements here very easily by just dragging something on there and adding it. Let's start with naming our agent. So we will build an onboarding planner. And we will do this in multiple steps. So this first tutorial today, we will focus on a single large language model. So here you can see you have agents, you have conditions, condition agents, you have human input, and you have large language models. And the difference between large language models and agents is basically that agents can use tools, which we will do in part 2 of the series. But for now, we will start with just a large language model. And as you can see, it's very much drag and drop, so I can easily make a connection that the first step should be this LLM. Okay, so let's open up this LLM. We'll give it a name. We'll call it onboarding plan. Okay, and this is why I need to type things in advance. So we will select a model. As you can see, all the major models are supported. So from AWS to Anthropic to Gemini to OpenAI. So all of them are in here. And first thing you need to do is you need to set up your credentials. So it's very simple. I will put a link on how to set up your API key. We already included our own API key. And then you can select all the different models that GPT offers. So this is also important when you go into production to choose the right model that is both cost effective, but it's also fit for purpose. For now, we will just use GPT-4o Mini, but you can use whichever model you prefer. If you have access to Google, that's also perfectly fine. You can tweak the model with a lot of details, even things like temperature, allowing images uploads, all those kind of things. But for now, we don't need to do any of that. So let's hide this. So the first thing that we will do is we will give the model instructions. You do that by clicking Add Messages. And here you have 4 different levels of messages. Basically, you should see this as sort of a hierarchy where the system message sort of explains the large guardrails that you want the system to adhere to, and goes down to developer, and then user, and then assistant. Honestly, you don't need to spend too much time in the beginning on these kind of things. This is much more interesting when you get a little bit further. But just remember that this is sort of a hierarchy. So your model will always first look at the system level to see what kind of rules it should follow. I already created my prompts up front because otherwise it will take a lot of time. So let me just copy and paste them here. So our first system prompt basically explains the purpose, the rules it should adhere to, simple business language, do not store or request any personal data, avoid biases, set the quality bar, and some output discipline. So let me save it like this. And I will make all the templates available in case you want to copy my prompts. But doing the prompt engineering is actually very interesting. So I would also highly recommend that you play around a little bit yourself. Let's just do another user prompt. So we will skip the developer level. And here we basically give input as the user would. So here the manager says, I want an onboarding plan. You need to provide me with a template, group the questions and ask them at different times. And here are some of the questions that I'm asking. And then on the output preference. So let's save this. And let's add one more assistant message just to improve the quality. We will give it an example output. So in this case, I basically say, okay, this is the example output style. And I give it an example. Okay, these are the roles, blah, blah, all those kind of things. So within seconds, you basically already are building a very specific tool that managers could use. All these other functionalities we will use in some of the upcoming tutorials, but for now we will leave it at this. On the top right, we can save. Very important, save throughout, because otherwise if you don't save and you start testing, it doesn't take into account your latest changes. And there are also some configuration options. Some of them we will go into later, but an interesting one is to also create some starter prompts. So instead of the user seeing an empty message like this, hi there, how can I help? We will add one more configuration and we will say, help me create an onboarding plan. Okay. So here on the right, you can start typing. So I can say, help me create an onboarding plan, or I just say, I need an onboarding plan. And the first thing you see, it's asking me a question. Okay, let's start with the basics. What is the new joiner's name? So his name is Rick Leunissen. His start date is 1st of Jan 2026. 3, he is a senior extent developer for Workday. 4, he is a senior consultant. Okay, and then I get a few additional questions. Let's go through it a little bit quickly. He needs to deliver high quality extend projects for our customers. Hired him for his development skills and great communication. Top 3 outcomes are delivering his first project, building a Flowise agent, and getting a good understanding of our culture. And he will join Project Ignite. Then I get a few more questions. Constraints. Constraint is his holiday in March. He should meet his colleague Matt, will be his buddy. John, who leads Ignite, and Eric and Jane, who are his peers. Okay, and buddy is Matt, and let's do a daily and then indeed weekly after the first week. Okay, so I answered a few questions as the manager. Oh, there's still 2 more to go. Standard 90 days and high level plan. But you can see within like 5 minutes, we created this agent that you can chat to, and you can chat to it via Teams or via the Flowise agent, and later on, of course, via the Workday assistant. and it's already creating a very detailed project plan. So if you now expand this, you can actually go in and also review the process flow. Right now, it's only one step, right? We started very simple. Later on, we will see some more complex plans. And I can see, okay, I have an onboarding plan for Rick. These are the stakeholders he needs to meet. This is his day one plan, his week one plan, week 2 to 4. So as you can see, it makes a very extensive plan. Of course, we didn't include any links to Workday yet, and we can do so much more. So that's what we will do in the next series. So in tutorial 2, we will actually connect to Workday. So make sure that you tune in for that episode, and hopefully you found this useful. If so, let us know. Always happy to hear some feedback, and hoping to see you in the next episode.